Other news making headlines: China's top political body, the National People's Congress, is meeting this week to lay out a strategy for the year ahead. The biggest announcements so far include an increase in military defense spending and a fairly modest economic rebound plan. SABC News reporter Richard Kimber sent this report from Hong Kong.
The key objectives being discussed at the National People's Congress are an effort from Beijing to try to strengthen the country's political and economic situation in the face of increasing international political pressure and increasing domestic economic pressure to get its manufacturing and business activity back on track after the sudden end at the end of last year of long-running strict COVID-19 rules in the country. On the political front, China is ramping up defense spending in what it says is a reasonable and appropriate step to ensure that it can fulfill its responsibilities as a major country. The Communist Party spokesperson is saying this is not to be viewed as a threat against any specific overseas nation, but instead an effort simply to ensure regional peace and stability. But this, of course, comes as China faces continued tensions with the United States over its perceived ties to Russia, with the conflict in Ukraine still ongoing, and also concerns over China's military intentions towards the self-governed island of Taiwan and multiple territorial disputes in the South China Sea. On the economic front, the central bank is targeting economic growth this year of around 5%. Economists say this is relatively conservative, but reflects a determination on the part of the Chinese leadership to make sure that that target can be met after last year's target fell well short of expectations as GDP growth came in at around 3%, one of the lowest growth rates in decades, largely because of those long-running strict COVID-19 restrictions in the country. The central bank says it will increase borrowing by around a fifth in order to try and support the debt-laden nature of many local banks in the country. It will also be taking tighter controls over the fragile and volatile property sector that has at times roiled global stock markets. And there'll also be a big push from the central bank, with the Communist Party leadership fully supportive of this, to try and increase self-reliance in China with regards to high-grade technology amid long-running spats, trade sanctions and political tensions indeed over the way that China can export its technology and import technologies that are required to help it remain a global leader in areas such as semiconductors and chip making. Richard Kimber for SABC News in Hong Kong.